Hello viewers, in this video we are going to learn about different CRISPR based lateral assays for detection of SARS-CoV-2. There are several CRISPR based lateral assays nowadays available for detection of infectious diseases including SARS-CoV-2. There are several assays being developed based on CRISPR that can be used to detect SARS-CoV-2 infection as well with great sensitivity. These assays include detector assay, Sherlock assay, that is a specific high sensitivity enzymatic reporter unlocking technique, okay, and FN-Cas9 editor linker, uniform detection assays, acronym is FEDULA, and there is IODE CRISPR assay, that is all-in-one dual CRISPR-Cas12 assay, and there is CREST, that is Cas13 based detection of SARS-CoV-2 genetic material. Okay, so we will try to understand first three assays, that is detector, Sherlock, and FEDULA. So first, to understand the basics of or overview of the CRISPR based COVID-19 testing assays, what do we do here? We take the sample, patient sample that has the viral RNA in the sample, and then we amplify it. We can choose any amplification method, like mostly the techniques which are being discussed here are using isothermal amplification methods like recombinase polymerase assay or loop mediated amplification. Okay, so this viral RNA is amplified using isothermal amplification method and converted into the DNA. Okay, and then in vitro transcription can also be carried out for different method and converted back into higher number of RNAs. Okay, then these DNA or RNA are mixed with the Cas proteins. In different assays, different Cas proteins are being used along with the crRNA. Okay, so once these Cas nucleoprotein complex, they interact with the target. Target is what? The one that we have provided, the Cas, different Cas proteins. Okay, this amplified target protein. Once these Cas nucleoprotein complex interact with the DNA or RNA in different cases, they gets activated. They may or may not get activated. In case of Cas12 and Cas13, they gets activated, and they, upon activation, they start an collateral cleavage activity. Okay, collateral cleavage activity, and they start cleaving the reporter molecules provided to them in a very random fashion. Okay, Cas12 reporters are the one having fluorescently labeled tags and biotin tags on these molecules, and they start cleaving these reporter molecules uh, non-specifically. So this specific interaction of the Cas nucleoprotein with the target activates them such that they start a non-specific collateral cleavage activity and what do? They start cleaving the reporter molecule. Now the reporter molecule can be of two type, where you can have a fluorescent tag and a biotin tag. Okay, once these are cleaved, they can be subjected to lateral flow assay, or the reporter molecule can be of a beacon type, where a fluorescent molecule is there and a quencher is there. So once they are cleaved, the fluorescent signal will no longer will be cleaved, or sorry, quenched, and that can be detected through fluorescence visualization. Okay, so what are we doing here? We are taking the viral RNA, we are amplifying it, we are supplying it with the Cas protein and crRNA and also the reporter molecule. Once there is a specific interaction of the target and the Cas nucleoprotein, they gets activated and they cleave the reporter molecule such that the fluorophore will be freed, or fluorescent signal and biotin signal will be separated. They can be detected either by the lateral flow assay or by fluorescent visualization, or in some cases where the no cleavage of the target is happening, can be detected by the intactness of the target molecule or cleavage of the target molecule through agarose gel electrophoresis. So this is the basic schema how these CRISPR based lateral assays or CRISPR based molecular assays work to detect the presence of a molecule, DNA, RNA molecule. Okay, so we are going to understand now detector assay, Sherlock assay, and Fedula. Detector assay has the sensitivity of 10 to 100 copies of RNA molecules per microliter. Okay, and it takes about just 40 minutes. And you need least equipments like 37 degree heating block and a 62-degree heat block. So you need heat block at two temperatures. So what do you do first? You take the patient's RNA and you carry out the isothermal amplification, okay, for 20 minutes, and then you mix the Cas12 and the reporter and incubate it 37 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes. Okay, and then you can perform the lateral flow, which takes about 2 minutes. So this is a very simple strategy using Cas12a and using activating the corollary activity of these Cas proteins. You can cleave the supplied detector molecule and carry out the lateral flow. Okay. This also represents a simplified figure of detector assay. Extraction of viral DNA or viral RNA is done. Then isothermal amplification by primers that target the viral antigens, like we can target any antigen like E or N2 genes that will be amplified by isothermal amplification, and then upon addition of Cas12 sgRNA complex, once it binds to the target, it gets activated. Okay, so this in first case where you have no target, annealing to the target, this reporter provided remains uncleaved, and once this sgRNA binds to the template or target DNA, target molecule, it gets activated, and an indiscriminate uh, or corollary activity of single strand DNA cleavage gets activated. Okay, so this reporter is now gets that cleaves. Okay, so this reporter, as you can see, have a biotin signal that can be detected onto the lateral flow assay. Okay, upon cleavage, the fluorescence is no longer quenched and can also be detected visually or on the lateral flow. See, okay, and since the probes are tagged with the streptavidin, see here we have a probe that is labeled with the streptavidin. Okay, the lateral flow strip first captures the streptavidin portion of these probe via biotin, okay, that we have here on the reporter, and the fluorescent portion of the probe is then cut and flow further and can be captured by the antibodies along the strip. Okay, so this way detector assay work and can be used to detect the on-site or point of care way for detection of the SARS-CoV-2. In case of Sherlock technique, we are using Cas13. In detector assay, we were using Cas12, right? So this Cas12 is not catalytically active in the presence of two or more mismatches in the cRNA, okay, target duplex, cRNA target duplex, and will not give a positive result for highly similar viruses. So it is very specific. Even if there are one or two mismatches, it won't bind to the target. Unlike Cas12a, Cas13a does not require strict sequence preferences at the target site. That is, Cas12a requires a protospacer adjacent motif for its target cleavage, while Cas13a doesn't require that. So here also we are, what are we doing? We are taking the sample, we are doing the isothermal amplification, then transcription, we are converting into the RNA copies, and then we are mixing these reporter cleavable reporter and Cas13a detect crRNA. Okay, so once if at all this Cas13 crRNA binds to its target, its corollary activity will begin and it will cleave the signal. Okay, and it will produce the signal. Okay, so this is the simple way, simplified way of how Sherlock works. There are two versions of Sherlock, one step and two step Sherlocks, and they differ in their specificity and few other features. In case of two-step Sherlock, the isothermal amplification and then transcription by T7 Nepal are two different are carried out at two different steps. Okay, so we have two user manipulations. First is the RT-RPA and then second is the transcription. So we have two steps in the Sherlock, and then we detect the fluorescence signal. For if there's a positive fluorescence, then the sample will be having the target molecule, DNA or RNA molecule specifically here. And in a single step Sherlock, which is a bit complex to perform than the two step Sherlock, what we do, we have RT-RPA and T7 transcription step merged together in single step, single reaction. Okay, and then we if the target molecule is cleaved, that can be detected by the simple lateral flow assay. Okay, as I told you that two-step Sherlock and one-part Sherlock vary in their sensitivity. The sensitivity of two-step Sherlock is in zeptomolar range, that is, it can detect single molecule per ml, while the one-part Sherlock is in range of femto to attomolar range. So we can detect the presence of one molecule per ml. Okay, 1 to 1000 molecule per ml. Okay, so this is the difference. uh, mm, so with this, now we will move to the next technique. In case of Fedula, we use a Cas9 enzyme from Farcicella novicida. Okay, and the Cas9 which is used here is now popular as FN-Cas9. It shows very high level of sensitivity. FN-Cas9 is very high mismatch sensitivity. It shows high mismatch sensitivity and can distinguish between nucleotide sequences differing by only one mismatch. So it's very specific. But it is a dead enzyme. It is catalytically inactive. It doesn't cleave its target. Okay. So it upon activation, it won't show any activity actually. It won't get activated because there are certain mutations in this FN-Cas9 that makes it inactive. The only job that we want from FN-Cas9 in Fedula is to bind to the target sequence, okay, with high affinity, with low tolerance to the mismatch. This Fedula is a qPCR independent point of care diagnostic approach which was developed by CSI IGIB New Delhi, and compared to the other methods like in Sherlock and detector, Fedula does not need a reporter. Okay, earlier, because it is not active as I told you, so it doesn't require a reporter, and hence it is a less complex way of detecting the COVID infections. In Fedula also, we isolate, extract RNA from the sample, and then we carry out reverse transcription or RT-PCR, or alternatively isothermal recombinase polymerase amplification can also be used. Okay, so the amplified products get biotinylated as well. So this darker one you are seeing is the biotinylated. This is the biotinylated product. And now what happens, we provide the FN-Cas9 gRNA. Okay, this is the FN-Cas9 gRNA that is labeled with a FAM group. Okay, so this FN-Cas9 gRNA shows complementarity with the amplified product. Okay, and then they anneal with each other. Okay. Now, due to the streptavidin on the lateral flow strip, these biotinylated product gets immobilized on this dipstick. Okay, and along with the RNP complex, that is this FN-Cas9 gRNA. Okay, now this complex, ribonucleoprotein complex bound to the labeled substrate can be visualized using anti-FAM antibody conjugated with the gold nanoparticles. Okay, so a positive test line will develop if there is a amplification. Okay, and while if there is no amplification, this ribonucleoprotein particle won't bind to any product, and the gold nanoparticle conjugated antibody won't bind to the FAM, while this at the control line, anti-Ig antibody will bind to these antibody gold particle and will give a control band. Okay, so here you can see strip, this is the sample flow direction, and if there is an amplification, this FAM labeled tracer RNA will bind to the that amplified band, okay, and will give a positive test where the streptavidin capture of RNP bound biotinylate substrate, while a control band will be observed in both the cases where anti-rabbit antibody will bind to the antibody gold conjugate. Okay, so this way it is a simplified detection method as compared to the direct method or Sherlock method, where you need to have additional detector probes, okay, detector molecules, while in case here simple amplification and then detection on the dipstick through lateral flow. So this is a simpler way. Viewers, I hope that you understood these three CRISPR-based diagnostic methods for SARS-CoV-2, that is direct method, Sherlock method, and Fedula. I will keep coming with new videos for your knowledge. Please do subscribe, like, and share my channel. Thank you. Thank you so much.